It's a long way from Las Vegas to China and still a long time until Team USA tips off as the two-time defending World Cup champions. But tonight is an important step as the Americans get a good long look at the roster in competition under the bright lights in Las Vegas. You're watching USA Basketball on NBA TV presented by Nike. It's the blue-white game, the final day of the first week for Team USA and our first look at the 2019.
Fans, please welcome to center court, Donovan Mitchell.
On behalf of USA Basketball, I just want to say thank you guys for coming out and showing your support. We look forward to going out to China representing the USA and winning the gold. Thank you guys so much.
Butts up against NBA training camps. By the time it's all said and done, the U.S. will be expected to be contending for a medal. Certainly, if they're playing that gold medal game, a lot of these guys will have to turn around and go right to camp with their pro teams.
This select team, they had a scrimmage. Strong move there by Jalen Brunson, cleared out some space.
On this roster who has senior men's national team experience, a gold medal winner back in 2016, Kemba to the rim. Off his rookie season with the Dallas Mavericks after an incredible career for Jay Wright, who was on Greg Popovich's staff. Bagley goes to his right and beats Miles Turner for the bucket.
Terrific scores, but he projects to be a guy that I think is going to be really good frontline scorer. Jaylen Brown there slipped, trying to ward off Jalen Brunson and turns it over.
You know, Bagley is Bagley is more skilled offensively than Kenneth Faried, but some of what happened during the week, one of the coaches told me that it was a lot of the more veteran guys who came in needing to get themselves into shape here in Las Vegas. It wasn't so much the select guys.
Yeah, which
leaves it for Jonathan Isaac and can't connect. Tapped out, Brunson has it. He'll try the three for the select team. Bagley crashing the boards again, keeps it alive, and Isaac finishes off the play. Good hustle from team.
some of that USA Basketball per diem.
I guess Kemba Walker technically hasn't picked up a Celtic check yet.
No.
Hasn't cashed in on some of that money yet. But Mitchell for three from Kemba, and he got it.
That's really good basketball there. Great move, different maybe from what they're used to on their own respective teams.
Turner knocks down the free throw line jumper. And the blue team takes a lead. Divide up the two squads, not randomly, but mix them up and have a blue-white game where they just played each other. And now it's more divided between the national team and the select team.
That we got to keep our dominance, and that's why I want to stay committed to it.
You have the opportunity now because you are what I hate to call you the older veteran.
It's okay. Better is better.
So many young players, and you said it yourself, you do have the opportunity to bring a level of leadership here. What is it that you would want to say to those younger guys?
You know what? I think they just to understand that every derail you, but he is a tough guy, tough competitor, fought through it, and arguably had his best game of the postseason when it mattered most in that closeout game against the Warriors.
Had a coach tell me he thought he was the best guard here this week.
He's been terrific, and he's you love about him is the versatility. He can make open shots. As De'Aaron Fox there gets a nice little roll.
There's Kuzma coming back the other way, goes to the half hook, nearly got it to fall, and Torrey Craig comes down with it. 14 select. Pat Connaughton now. Crossover and finishes with the right hand on the left side.
Losing in that bitter series against Toronto. But he had some solid moments for the group. They'll be a new look team. They'll have Lopez back, but Malcolm Brogdon, he's going to have to be able to not be a negative player on that side of the floor.
There's Fox with the steal and the finish. De'Aaron Fox as well as Joe Harris. If they both wind up making the trip not only to China but first to Australia, they're going to go to LA next week. They're going to have camp there. Exhibition next Friday night on NBA TV as John Collins finishes.
Yeah, and you know what? Knowing Pop, he'd probably be happy if he shot 42. He wouldn't be greedy.
Jason Tatum shot it great the last couple of days.
That's 2 threes. That's going to make him even more difficult to defend.
White off the back rim. Can Fox win the battle? He does. And he'll finish it off. 2-on-1, takes it himself, and Derek White handles it for Team White. And loses it.
Yeah, well, the impact that De'Aaron Fox's head. That's another steal there. He's gotten a loose ball.
When you think about it, first of all, the week here in Las Vegas, we'll break for a few days, go to Los Angeles, practice 3 days, play against Spain. Good. The little guy had a tough time in the paint. He just couldn't get anywhere. So we speeded up the game. We cleaned up the game. We did away with everything. But
The game.
you just said it. Physicality is a big thing, but also the use of hands. You cannot use your hands defensively. It's kind of a contradiction because of the
Because there was a time there where USA basketball was not at the level that we had always been accustomed to, and really good to see it back at that level. Is Donovan Mitchell there?
Hard to understand. And then 2 years later, the 2004 Olympics in Greece, when the U.S. lost to that great Argentina team, has not been as successful for the U.S. over the years as the Olympics. There have been 17 World Championships / World Cups. The U.S. has won 5 gold medals. Yugoslavia, which is a country that hasn't existed.
The familiarity as well, so it'll be a lot of fun.
All those games, by the way, on NBA TV up until the World Cup. All those exhibition games. I mentioned that Greg Popovich told us that yesterday. He's having to learn to teach what he considers illegal screens because they're allowed in the FIBA game.
He teaches them anyway. Don't let him.
Not all the players love this version of it. As a smaller guy, at least compared to these guys, I like the ball.
You like it?
It's easier to grip to me.
That sometimes that is the issue.
This is one of his victims. He got Joel Embiid with a dunk in the postseason. There's Tatum for 3.
Man,
Knocks
I love
down
this
another
part.
one.
Ooh, I tell you what a beautiful sight. If you're a Boston Celtic fan, you've got to be thrilled right now to watch the way Jason Tatum is making the game easy. Beautiful find. White there getting it down low. Wait, I thought he would get more consideration for most improved. Just an incredible year. And I think also, let's give Trae Young some credit for that as well, because having the point guard play that he brought.
You can look that up. But back then, the biggest that we used to go over the rules a lot, and it was where the referee didn't touch the ball. That was a big concern of ours, where they take it right out and score, is the physicality. I think they're more physical internationally. And the other thing we have to be careful for and be ready for and prepare for is they're going to show a zone. And some European teams, they play together much longer than we do, so we're just getting together now. So they know each other. They're going to run crisp offense. But if you can get in there and really get into their ball handlers and make it tough, I think that's going to be a staple of their defense. And then offensive, really old school ball movement, man movement, kind of like San Antonio plays. Yeah. You know, like we mentioned earlier, from good to great.
Right. Hold it for him.
No doubt about it. I still remember growing up as a kid. I'm a little younger than Chris is. Nice pass there, but watching, that's when college basketball.
Remember, it's basically patchwork players from all over the league, and they don't have the same infrastructure in China, in Australia, in terms of policies and protocols.
Your staff, what's the key to establishing communication and trust so early on?
Well, we coordinate with the management staff of the USAB. We know the itinerary for all travel schedules well in advance, and we basically set up even before we get there. So all I have to do is get here, confirm who's who, and then we just keep rolling.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time. I'll let you get back to the bench. The do-it-all doctor.
What we're doing on the mat with the national team, which gives you that continuity, not just in terms of medical staff and everything else, but preparation, approach, philosophy, all those things. And I think that's
Torrey Craig, great story. Out of South Carolina upstate, played in Australia for 3 years before he made his way to the Denver Nuggets. Tatum and one, count the bucket for Jason Tatum. Any questions that Greg Popovich and the staff might have about how to go about this? It's amazing, read this week, that they had never met until 2015 when Pop was named his successor.
I mean, you think about all he's accomplished at this stage of his career, and now at the helm is Kemba doing what Kemba does.
Kemba Walker heating up here. He's got 14 now for international basketball then. And then when he got his first NBA coaching job with the Spurs back in '88, under Larry Brown, he convinced Coach Brown to let him scout a European tournament.
It's every other week in essence, you know, half the season. In baseball, they're going to travel, but they're going to be where they're going oftentimes 3-4 days. We may be in 3 cities in 4 days. And obviously we typically leave right after, and you can be in 3 different time zones over the course of that as well. But we saw the Olympics.
Much on.
No, there wasn't. There weren't many channels out there, unfortunately. But, you know, the Olympics just is kind of like the cornerstone for sport internationally. Championships are obviously very important.
Yeah.
But it's just nothing like the Olympics.
No, it's clearly the case for just about everybody, fans and players. They look at the World Cup maybe a little differently than we do. It's certainly true in soccer, where the World Cup is every bit as big as Olympic Games.
No doubt about it.
Kyle Kuzma giving the fans what they want. They've been saying Kuz for the better part of 10-15 minutes now every time he touches the ball, and he delivers.
He rewards the fan.
That schedule announced on NBA TV Monday at 3 Eastern time, by the way. I've been asked to plug. Darren Fox, 5 now.
And Team USA, just a different energy and activity level when he's in the game.
Yep. Made a real impact. He had a couple of steals,
They really started to create that separation because of the activity defensively.
There's Bam Adebayo in the post. Post move, little drop step, and flips it up and in. Season. Without playing huge minutes either for Miami. Here's Fox, as fast as they come, goes to the right hand in the finish, and he is just dynamic.
Yeah, there's really no answer for that kind of speed in the open floor.
Jonathan Isaac steps into a transition 3.
A lot of teams feel like they're going to have a chance to win the West.
Well, and the East with Kawhi Leonard.
That's right.
Leaving
Great
the
point.
champs. Somebody asked me a while back about, is it good?
Defensively, they really got after it, defended the 3 well, and took advantage of it by getting in transition.
Senior men with a big lead here, under 3 minutes to go in the 4th quarter, which begins with the Czech Republic on September 1st. U.S. is part of Group E, which includes Turkey. 17th, they'll bring a team including Ersan İlyasova, Cedi Osman, Furkan Korkmaz.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say we're going to win that pool. You know, I'm normally not against
to win the World Cup. Serbia is the next favorite, and then you've got teams like Spain and France. Greece with Giannis Antetokounmpo has not had a ton of international success.
I was going to say, they haven't had an MVP before either.
Right.
So.
And his brothers, all part of that roster.
Boy, that
Serbia is going to be really good.
Going to be busy in Greece.
Joe Harris 4-3, back rims that. Spain is, we talked about that group earlier. A bunch of those guys, Rudy Fernandez and Marc Gasol and Yul.
The ability to shoot the 3 and not turn it over, that has become the great equalizer in our game. And so it's going to be a challenge this year. Obviously, as you said, favorites, but there is no guarantee as Middleton able to knock down that triple.
U.S. now 11 of 27 from three-point range. They've cooled down a little bit. U.S., the blue team. They're both the U.S. They'll run out the clock. And a good start, good launching point for this senior men's national team. Next stop, Los Angeles, ahead of next week's exhibition against Spain in Anaheim. A week from tonight, then off to Australia for 3 exhibition games, 2 against the home country, Australia.